Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through the sources so you get the crucial insights. Today, we're looking at a pretty fascinating life mapped out in Maye Musk's book, A Woman Makes a Plan.
Right. And our goal for you, listening, is to really pull out the actionable stuff from someone who's, well, constantly reinvented herself.
Across decades, right? 7 decades.
Yep, 7 decades, lived in 9 cities, 3 different countries. She knows a thing or two about starting over, about handling big, sometimes unwelcome changes.
Okay, so where does this resilience start? Is there a core idea?
It seems to go way back to her childhood, actually. There's this family motto, the Haldeman family motto.
Which was?
Live dangerously carefully.
Okay, live dangerously carefully. That sounds a little paradoxical.
It does, doesn't it? But it captures this balance. Her dad was this real adventurer. They flew across the Kalahari Desert in a small plane. Yeah, incredible stuff. But they planned those trips meticulously. So it's about embracing adventure, saying yes to things, but also making sure you've got your basics covered. You're prepared.
So it's not about not planning. Because sometimes too much planning can kill the spontaneity,
Totally. And she addresses that. She says that the plan is really just for the basics, maybe even just that first step. But crucially, it has to include a contingency. What do you do if things go wrong?
Okay.
If you get sideswiped, her thing is you make another plan instantly. It's about being resilient, not rigid. And that comes from this why not attitude she talks about.
Saying yes to things, even if they seem a bit random.
Exactly. Like that beauty competition she entered as a young woman, the Vol Queen thing.
Right, she thought it was kind of silly.
Completely. A waste of an afternoon, she thought. But she said, why not? And, well, winning it basically launched her modeling career.
A career people told her would be over by, what, age 18?
You got it. Age 18. And here she is, still working decades later. Which brings us to this whole idea of a second act, maybe even a third or fourth.
Yeah, because her career didn't just continue, it actually kind of exploded later in life, didn't it?
Exploded is the right word. After decades of modeling, suddenly, in her late 50s, 60s, things really took off. Cover girl at 69.
69,
Yep.
And walking New York Fashion Week.
At 67. So the question is, what changed? What was the secret?
Okay, tell us.
It was her hair.
Her hair.
Yep. The silver secret, as we're calling it. At 59, she just decided, sort of on a whim, I'm done dyeing my hair. Let it go silver.
And that made her more in demand.
Unbelievably so. She says she never would have guessed it. Embracing her natural age, that look suddenly made her stand out, made her unique. She started working more than ever.
That's a powerful lesson right there, turning what society might see as a negative into a huge positive.
Absolutely. But it wasn't easy. There were definitely struggles, like that time in her 50s, trying to get work in New York.
Yes, the agency trouble. What happened there?
Well, her agency basically said, sorry, no work for you. Or, clients prefer other models, the younger, known names.
Ouch. So for someone who believes in making a plan, what was her plan then, when the gatekeepers say no?
Well, first she realized, okay, the problem isn't me, it's this agency, their mindset.
Right.
So her solution was, well, pretty bold. She started booking work internationally, London, Paris, other cities in North America.
Yeah.
Basically building her own buzz elsewhere.
Creating leverage.
Exactly. But the agency still wouldn't let her out of her New York contract.
So what did she do? Just wait it out?
No way. This is where her persistence really shines. She physically went to the agency, sat down in the senior agent's waiting room,
Oh, wow.
and just refused to leave until they released her. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
That takes guts.
It really does. And her takeaway from that, which is so useful for anyone listening, is if you're in a bad situation and it's clear it won't change on its own, get out as fast as you can. Don't wait for permission or for things to magically get better.
That's solid advice for so many situations, not just modeling agencies. And it ties into her whole philosophy about self-worth, doesn't it? Beyond just looks.
Totally. She talks about her South African background where maybe there's less emphasis on just surface appearances. She says, look, beauty fades. Don't bank on it.
So what should you bank on?
Being interesting.
Yeah.
Being intelligent, having a good sense of humor. She actually jokes she wants her gravestone to say she was funny.
I love that. It's about the inside stuff.
Exactly. Prioritizing internal value, which probably helped her navigate some really tough personal times too.
Right. Let's shift gears a bit. She talks about her marriage, calling those years a dark tunnel.
Yeah, and she's quite open about it being an abusive situation. Her key learning there, she says, was realizing she stayed too long hoping he would change.
Which didn't happen.
No. Nothing changed until she made the change. But even that required careful planning, going back to that motto.
Live dangerously, carefully. How did that apply here?
Well, escaping wasn't impulsive. She actually waited strategically for South African divorce laws to change.
Oh, really?
Yeah, waited until they introduced irretrievable breakdown as grounds for divorce. That meant she didn't have to prove fault, which could have been messy or dangerous. It allowed a cleaner, safer exit.
That's incredible foresight in a terrible situation.
It is. And she makes this really powerful point. Afterwards, yeah, she struggled financially. She was lonely, eating, peanut butter sandwiches and bean soup for years.
Tough times.
Really tough. But she says that struggle was so much better than the constant fear she lived with before. Freedom was worth the hardship.
Wow. And she had her 3 kids through all this. Elon, Kimball, Tosca. How did she approach parenting after that?
With this fierce focus on self-reliance, almost radically so. She didn't check their homework, didn't manage their university applications or student loans.
Seriously, they did all that themselves.
All themselves.
Hmm.
Her job, as she saw it, was to raise responsible adults who could handle their own lives. Lead by example, basically.
But she still paid attention, right? She talks about the magic of 12.
Ah, yes. The magic of 12. It's this observation she made.
What is it?
That by around age 12, before all the pressure of exams and specializing kicks in, you can often see a child's core passions emerging, the things they'll likely stick with.
Like what she saw in her kids.
Exactly. Elon, always reading, getting into computers and coding. Kimball, interested in food, cooking, community. Tosca, drawn to drama, movies, storytelling. Those were the seeds, visible early on.
So the lesson for parents or mentors?
Isn't to push them down a certain path, but to notice those sparks. And then, provide the resources or support for their interests. Nurture what's already there.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, another big change. The family moved to Canada. She wasn't keen initially.
Not at all. Her life in Johannesburg was finally stable. Her nutrition practice was doing well. She was reluctant to uproot everything again.
But the kids wanted to go.
The kids, especially Tosca, saw more opportunity in North America. South Africa felt limiting to them at the time, so it became this test of making another plan.
And Tosca helped things along.
Oh, she did more than help. Once Maye agreed in principle to move, Tosca, who was only 15, took matters into her own hands, sold the house, sold the car, sold the furniture.
Yeah.
Without permission.
15?
Yep, just boom, done. Forced the issue. Maye was probably shocked, but she realized Tosca had a point about seizing the moment, so they went with it.
That is, wow, talk about taking initiative. But starting over in Toronto must have been hard. Funds blocked, no credit.
Oh, absolutely brutal. A real test of that idea. The harder you work, the luckier you get. She needed a credit card just to rent an apartment, buy essentials, denied everywhere.
Until the department store incident.
The Eden story, yes. Classic. She applies for their store card, gets rejected. Standard procedure, no credit history.
Must have been so frustrating.
Totally. But then as she's about to leave, she has this moment. She points up at the wall and says to the manager, essentially, see that giant Mother's Day poster? That model? That's me.
Get out.
Swear down. And apparently, the manager looked at the poster, looked at her, and approved the card on the spot.
That's amazing. It wasn't just luck, though. It was her past hard work, the modeling, creating that opportunity.
Exactly. Her two careers intersecting perfectly at that moment. And that same drive, that persistence, is how she built her nutrition practice there.
Right, because the doctors weren't sending patients her way initially.
Nope. She was an RBN, a registered dietitian nutritionist, highly qualified, science-based.
Way harder than just a health coach.
Way more. But she was unknown. So her tactic, relentless follow-up. She'd call doctors' offices again and again.
Yeah.
She offered proof.
What kind of proof?
She'd say, look, send me 3 of your toughest patients, prediabetes, high cholesterol, whatever. They follow my plan for 3 months, and I guarantee you'll see better blood results.
Results-based, confidence in her plan.
That's it. She sold the outcome, not just the service. And it worked. Same persistence got her first book deal too, years of giving talks, until the right person was finally in the audience.
And she applied that same all-in support to her kids' ventures, didn't she? The Zip2 store.
Oh, yeah. That's huge. Elon and Kimball needed money like $10,000. It was basically her entire savings to print glossy presentations for VC pitches for Zip2.
Her whole safety net.
Her whole safety net. She gave it to them. That's belief. That's sacrifice.
Wow. And Kimball has that memory of when they finally got funded.
He does. She took them out for a celebratory dinner, the best place in town, paid the bill, and then looked at them and said,
What?
"That's the last time you'll see my credit card."
Chills. What a moment, marking their independence.
Exactly. The torch being passed, in a way.
Okay, let's talk about her actual advice as an RDN. Given her scientific background, what's her take on health and diet? Is it complicated?
Surprisingly simple, actually,
Mm-hmm.
and refreshingly no nonsense. She is adamant there's no magic pill.
No expensive juices or fad diets?
Forget 'em. She's a scientist. Stick to common sense, evidence-based stuff. She actually finds it funny how people cut out perfectly healthy foods like bread or dairy because of some trend, but ignore the real culprits, usually excess sugar and unhealthy fats.
So what's the core principle?
Plan your meals to keep your energy stable. Eat regularly, every few hours. Simple, healthy foods.
Why is eating regularly so important?
Because, as she says, if you let yourself get too hungry, well, you know what happens.
Yeah, you get grumpy, lose focus.
And you make bad choices, you grab whatever's fast and easy, usually not the healthiest option. So planning prevents those crashes and poor decisions.
Makes sense. What about treats? Temptations?
Know your triggers. Her famous line is, "Chocolates go home with the guests. Don't keep your kryptonite lying around."
Good rule.
Yeah.
But she's realistic too, right?
Totally. She talks about the 80% rule. If you're eating well 80% of the time, don't sweat the other 20%. Enjoy the indulgence. The key is no guilt.
Nope.
None. Enjoy it, and then get right back on track with your next meal. It's about forward progress, not perfection or self-punishment.
That positive mindset seems key to her whole outlook, especially on aging. She actually likes getting older.
She finds every decade better than the last, which is pretty inspiring. And she credits her mother, Win Haldeman, for that attitude.
Her mother was adventurous too, wasn't she?
Right to the end. After May's father died, her mom was 61. What did she do? Started a whole new 22-year career as an artist.
At 61? Wow.
Yep, took up wood carving, painting, and in her 90s, she was learning digital art. Still exploring, still creating.
That's just incredible. It really sends the message that it's never too late to start something new.
Never. Whether it's a career, a passion, whatever. Age is not the barrier we think it is. And May connects this positive energy directly to health.
How so?
By emphasizing who you surround yourself with, mixed with happy, supportive people. She's observed that being in unhappy relationships or constantly dealing with negativity actually makes it harder to make healthy choices. Your environment matters.
Your social health impacts your physical health.
Absolutely, it's all connected.
So wrapping this all up, if you look at her whole life, from that unexpected beauty contest win to being a cover girl decades later, the formula seems consistent.
Yeah, it really boils down to a few things. Hard work, definitely. Common sense, a baseline optimism, and always, always having a plan.
Being ready to toss that plan out the window.
Instantly. Be ready to make another plan. The second life throws you a curveball. Rejection, crisis, failure. It's not the end, it's just a signal to pivot. Don't wallow, keep moving.
Like that story about the fancy hotel bar in New York.
Oh, that's such a great full circle moment.
Yeah.
She remembers being there for a shoot in her 50s, couldn't even afford a drink with the others afterward, just quietly left.
Didn't complain, just kept working.
Exactly. And then years later, she walks back into that same hotel, successful author, cover girl, living the life she'd planned and worked for.
It shows the power of holding that future vision, even when the present is tough.
Definitely. Visualize it, then work backward to make it happen.
So let's leave our listeners with a final thought, inspired by May's own mother, Win.
Finding her greatest passion and success well into her 60s, 70s, 80s.
Right. The thought is this. What talent, what dream, what next chapter are you putting off because you think you're too old or it's just too late to begin?